Today, we are diving into what some people, even Einstein apparently, have called the eighth wonder of the world, compounding. Seriously, it's this quiet, powerful force that can either build you an incredible fortune or, well, trap you in debt. So let's figure out how to make sure it's working for you, not against you.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if your money could start earning its own little paycheck, and then those earnings started earning their own paychecks? It sounds a little like magic, right? But it's not. It's the whole idea we're going to unpack today. But here's the thing. Before we can really harness this power, we've got to understand the engine behind it, which is interest. And you really have to think of it like a tool. In your hands, it can build amazing things, but if it's used against you, it can be pretty destructive. It is, without a doubt, a financial double-edged sword.
At its core, the definition is super simple. When you borrow money, you have to pay a fee for that privilege. That's interest. But on the flip side, when you save or invest money, you get to earn a reward for letting someone else use it, and that's also interest. It's basically the rent paid on money.
Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Not all interest is created equal. There are two fundamental types, and really getting the difference between them, well, it's like learning the secret code that unlocks some serious financial growth.
So here's the key takeaway. Simple interest is totally static. It's calculated on your starting amount, the same amount year after year. Compound interest, though, it's dynamic. It calculates interest on your starting amount plus all the interest you've already piled up. And that right there is the secret sauce. You're earning interest on your interest.
Let's make this real with some numbers. Imagine you invest $1,000 at a 5% simple interest rate. Over 3 years, you earn a flat $50 each year. Add it all up, that's $150. Easy, simple.
Now let's run those exact same numbers, but with compound interest. Over the same 3 years, you earn $157.63. And you might be looking at that and thinking, wait, $7.63? That's it? Who cares? And you know what? Over a short time frame, you're right. The difference is tiny. But this is where the magic ingredient, time, comes into play.
And this is where we pivot from just simple math to something that honestly feels like a financial superpower. Because when you give compound interest the one thing it desperately needs, which is time, it transforms from this tiny little advantage into an absolutely unstoppable force for building wealth.
This is probably the best way to picture it. Your first investment is just a little snowball at the top of a hill. As it starts to roll, it picks up a layer of snow. That's your interest. But now it's a bigger ball, right? So the next time it rolls over, it picks up even more snow. That's compounding right there in action. Bigger and faster and bigger and faster.
And here's what that snowball effect looks like on a chart. Look, after 10 years, your $1,000 has grown. Yeah, pretty nicely. But look at that jump between year 10 and year 30. Whoa, it more than doubles. You see how the growth isn't a straight line. It's exponential. The last few years of your investing journey can literally generate more wealth than the first couple of decades combined. That is the power we are talking about.
Want a cool trick to feel this power in your head? It's called the Rule of 72. It is a fantastic little mental shortcut to figure out roughly how long it's going to take for your money to double.
It's so incredibly simple. You just divide the number 72 by your annual interest rate. So if you're earning a 6% return, your money's going to double in about 12 years. If you can get a 9% return, it would only take 8 years. It's a brilliant way to see just how much your rate of return really, really matters.
Okay, but remember that double-edged sword we mentioned at the start? Compounding is a totally impartial force. It doesn't care if you're saving or borrowing. It will work just as hard, just as relentlessly against you if you're the one who owes money, especially at high interest rates.
And this is the dark side of compounding. Credit card debt is the #1 example. The interest charges get added right back into your balance, and then the next month, guess what? You're charged interest on that new, higher balance. It can create this downward debt spiral that is incredibly tough to get out of.
So, the big question is, how do you make sure you're on the winning side of this equation? The good news is, it's not about being some financial wizard. It's really just about following a simple, consistent game plan.
And here it is, the whole strategy on one slide. First, you start as early as possible, because time is your absolute best friend here. Second, you invest regularly. Consistency is what builds that momentum. Third, you reinvest every single penny of your earnings, because that's what makes the snowball grow. And last, but definitely not least, you have to aggressively avoid high-interest debt, because that is the one thing that will stop your progress cold.
So after all of this, you might be thinking the most important thing you need to get this whole process started is a big pile of money, but that's not it at all.
In this whole game of compounding, your starting cash is helpful for sure, but it is not the most powerful piece on the board, not even close.
The single most critical ingredient, the fuel for the entire engine of compounding, is time. A person who starts investing even a small amount in their 20s can easily end up with more money than someone who invests a way larger amount but starts in their 40s. Time is the true magic here. It's the fuel for that exponential growth.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. Every single one of us has a clock, and it is ticking. The sooner you put this incredible power of compounding to work for you, the more powerful it's going to become. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do with the time that you have?